Hi, I'm Debbie.
I'm Jamie.
And we're Barefoot Cafe, and you're watching Virtually East London.
Welcome to another episode, guys. Season 1, episode 3, and guess what? We're back in Chintsa, but this time we are at Purple Haze Eco Lodge, and we are sitting with Louf and Inge, who are going to be sharing with us the experience of what they have here. A beautiful, very minimalist, establishment, mainly for people who are in love. We're in the month of love. People newlyweds, people who just want some, break and peace of mind. But then, before I say much, let's get into it. Let's speak about it. Welcome, guys, and thank you for inviting Virtually East London.
Thanks, Miss Inge.
Thanks for coming.
Inge, if you could tell us about yourselves and what inspired Purple Haze and the journey of bringing this place to life.
Well, ourselves, you could say I'm fourth generation slummy. There's a Dyer Street in East London, and that was my great-grandfather. He was a well-known builder, and as was his son, my grandfather. Then my father left when he was young, and it took me half a lifetime to come back. But when I came back here, it was just like I'm home. Louf, his family has been vacationing in the area for years. So one day they rounded the corner there and they saw Chintsa, and they just also felt at home. So they built one of the oldest houses in Chintsa, and they've been coming here ever since.
Wow, so you one can say you are originally from around here.
Yeah, sort of, but we only found that out later because we both basically grew up in Pretoria or lived in Pretoria, and only later when we came back we realized that Inge's grandfather is actually buried in East London Cemetery, and that my predecessors, also great-grandfather I think, also came from this area, from Alice and so on. So it was a whole turnaround thing again.
We actually marveled when we came in and looked at the rooms. It's always different seeing a facility online on photos and when you see it, in person. And just when she mentioned that she comes from a generation of builders, and we looked at the work that she's done in the room, the colors, the ambience. I mean, this place, you just walk in and there's your whole being, feels the tranquil. And also how you have connected the place with nature. How did you achieve that?
The idea actually, right from the beginning, we realized, okay, if we want to make this lodge, the view is going to be paramount. And then through an amazing series of circumstances, we managed to acquire this plot. And then we realized, okay, the view is here, so we have to bring nature completely inside. We want to make people, if you come into the unit and you close the door behind you, you're in a completely comfortable, secure space. And in front of you, the whole wall is covered with glass. It's literally a mixture of the outside coming in. And with the minimalistic look of the unit and the paint that Inge used, the colors, the tranquil colors and so on, we managed to, well, we hope we managed to achieve something without using too much, with using nature as the decorator, so to speak.
Wow. Well, there's a story there that I read When you were building and you went up the ladder to see this place, can you say more about that?
Yes, they first built the first level. It's a wooden structure with cement fiber. When they first built it, we had no idea how high this level which we're sitting on is going to be. We were very chuffed with the view this side, 180-degree views, but when we climbed up the ladder one day when the builders were gone, around about this time of the day, and we realized we have this whole view over this area as well, the sunset view and so on. Yeah, it was a fantastic moment. It turned out it's got to be one of the best views in Chintsa.
Wow. And then when you built the facility, what kind of patrons did you have in mind?
We actually almost exclusively from the beginning thought about romantic couples coming for a getaway or European tourists just stopping over. We don't accommodate children and we don't really do parties either. It's just the whole feeling here is one of tranquility, of silence, of darkness and so on. So we're targeting the very local market in Tata, East London. Many of our patrons come there. And then we also do try and cater for the Europeans who come over on their normal route down the coast. And yeah, we're quite a convenient stopover point for them too.
Into the Wild Coast.
Into the Wild Coast, or coming from the Wild Coast area, going back here.
The Luxury Hotels Guide actually gave you a superb 9.8 rating. And then I also went on to other websites and looked at how people gave you reviews like, all-round great experience, 5-star hospitality, and one person said that the owner is extremely helpful. How do you maintain such an environment?
I think the main reason is that we actually really love doing this. We had no idea we would when we started this lodge. None of us had any experience really in the hospitality industry, but it turned out we were perfectly suited for it. Inge loves taking care of people. She loves the small little details. She's the one that makes sure everything is perfect. And I just really enjoy people. We've met maybe 2,000 people or so here over the last 3 years. And it's fantastic. People are fantastic. And I think people feel that. And there's an incredible positive energy in Chintsa. There's an incredible positive energy over here. And every time more guests come and experience this, it seems to sort of reload and recharge people. So yeah, no, I'm going to blame Inge and nature for that part mostly.
And both of them work because, for instance, in the rooms, I noticed that extra little touch, the flowers on the towels, fresh flowers in the vase, those things just make a huge difference actually.
I think it does, and that's Inge again. She loves doing things like that. But I think it does because we're smallish. We only have six rooms. That's the thing. Being small, you can easily adapt to people, but you can also give that personal experience, which I think is quite important in the end.
Okay. One last thing in this segment. There's a slogan you have: everything you need and
nothing that you don't.
Nothing that you don't. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'd love to actually. I believe that after COVID, it's time for us to change. I believe we're in a time of post-consumerism. It's time to know when enough is enough. When to say, this is adequate, this is enough. The whole idea with the units was there's nothing unnecessary. Nature is your decoration. All the small things you need for life are there, but that's it. Nothing more. And I think that's what most of the guests experience as well. And I think it's important. I think it's important getting back to nature, connecting with yourself, having a bit of quiet and a bit of tranquility and so on. And that's basically mostly all you need.
Wow. And with that, you'd be delighted to know that Purple Haze is partly self-catering, but they also work with restaurants around Chintsa to make sure that people who visit Purple Haze are catered for. So at this point, we are going to cut and visit one of those restaurants. We will go down to the Barefoot Cafe. See you on the other side.
About 5.5 years ago, a friend of ours owned Barefoot. He was the second owner of Barefoot, and he wanted to move back to Pretoria. So he approached my husband and said, "Are you guys interested in a restaurant?" Mini midlife crisis. Yeah, we'll buy a restaurant. So so now we have a restaurant. We've had it for 5.5 years, and I think family helps.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough one, not realizing how difficult and challenging the restaurant business actually is, and also how rewarding it can be, and the most amazing people you meet. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's such a diversity of people that you actually end up meeting. It's quite, yeah. Sometimes you just step back and look, you're like, wow, okay, you know.
Sorry,
No,
John, the
go for it.
exciting part is when people come in and they have food issues, like you've got diabetics coming through and gluten intolerance and all, these different things, and then we need to make a plan because they want to eat a pizza or they want a burger, and there's certain things they're allergic to, and it's a challenge, and it's fun to figure out.
Yeah, it's quite a fun challenge, you know. Treat them well, I suppose.
It's a tough question because we like to think of our customers as family. We get to know people when they come through, and we're just interested in people. And it's a bar, so you sit and you chat and
Just pick up things from people, yeah.
And people come to Chintsa, and a lot of people their first time here, they are like, wow, why is this place not advertised more?
No.
The beaches are magnificent. There's so much to do in this area that's not really, not really advertised that much.
Yeah, it's quite like a hidden gem.
Yeah, it's a total hidden gem. So we do get a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit of a tough question. Generally, people will come through on their first day when they've arrived in Chintsa, and then they'll come and have supper or lunch and say, okay, what is there to do in the area, And we, having lived in the area our whole lives, we know how to get hold of the horse riding on the beach, guys. There's so many different things, from surfing lessons to taking a boat ride to swim with the dolphins, game drives, and then also we know the different places into the Transkei. So if they say, oh, we're heading into the Transkei, we want to go in this direction, then we can say to them, stop in at this backpackers or have a look there, go to the waterfalls, that type of thing.
Giving them pointers.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of local knowledge we're passing on. Quiz night is something we started with Carmen. Last night was our 4th event. Yeah. And in these times of COVID, it's pretty difficult to socialize safely. And something Carmen's quiz night, people sit in the groups that they come with, and we sit outside on the deck and on the veranda, so everyone's nicely spaced out, and it's a safe, fun event. And Carmen, being an American, has a very interesting take on South African history and also on the different animals and the sports. So her questions she asks are interesting, and it's not an easy quiz by any means, but it's a good, fun night out. Yeah. That's actually COVID friendly and safe.
It was going pretty good, I must say. Like it's also a similar concept where you want to bring out the people in a safe environment, you know, because people are tired of sitting at home, you know, so you bring them out, you can make sure you space them all out, good music playing, and it's just a nice festive way to also see people that don't go out every single weekend, you know. So you try and to make it more family friendly, I want to say. So it went very well, I must say.
We started the Barefoot Sundays to try that out with the last lot of regulations that came through. The one unusual regulation was and no loud noise. So we've put that on pause in the meantime. We were focusing on local bands, local musos. You need to support local in this strange time. I think the benefit of Chintsa in the midst of the pandemic is majority of the places are outdoor venues or have an outdoor element to them. So there's nowhere where you're going to sit in an enclosed area breathing other people's air. So everything is focused on outdoor. So that is the big benefit of coming to Chintsa, whether you've had a vaccine or not, is that it's a pretty safe place to be. And I know the bed and breakfasts and the local accommodation places and that, they're pretty up to standard with their sanitizing. Everyone's following the rules. It's actually brilliant. So we have, as I said before, the magnificent beaches. There is so much to do out this way, and 90% of it's outside. So fresh air, it's the best thing during the pandemic.
It was so beautiful.
Wonderful.
The view,
Customer service, number one.
customer service.
The lady was very
so
nice.
beautiful.
Since it's our first time here, you are.
And tell me, how did you get to know about Barefoot?
We saw it on social media.
Nice. It was Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook.
Lovely. That's awesome. So guys, and I can see that you're so happy. Does the environment accommodate you? The love?
It's beautiful view. Everything is nice, beautiful.
Accommodator, you're okay.
Wow, that's good.
That's so wonderful. Oh, love. No, I'm so glad. And how do you like the decoration? It's quite different. Like
it's so different. I've never seen something like this in East London.
Wow.
We are from
In East London, I've never seen something like this. It's so simple and so beautiful.
Oh wow, I get lovely. No, just thought let's hear from you. What do you think?
It's beautiful, guys. In fact, it's perfect.
The owner is very nice. Yeah.
And we are coming back again.
Okay, no, says all about, because she was saying to us that what mostly make her place known is the word of mouth.
Welcome back to Virtually East London. Today we are being hosted by Louf and Inge from the Purple Haze Eco Lodge here in Chintsa, and we are continuing our conversation. So Louf, tell us more about the eco part of the lodge.
Okay, sure. When we started building this house, we thought we were going to do it in the greenest way as possible. So the first thing we did was to make sure that all the building material was either recyclable or inert, at least if it needed to be, you know, to end it up somewhere else. Then for this green deck also, the green deck is made of recycled plastic. And obviously it's durable and it doesn't use any water, but it still gives the green effect. For the rest of it, we're basically inside the coastal forest, as you can see, the sort of dune forest on this side. The Amatole coastal forest area is around here. So what we try to do with the garden is to make just indigenous plants in the garden, and the garden will flow then naturally into the surrounding area. And then also, along with a friend of ours, we're trying to plant plants that can be used for medical purposes as well. We've got bulbines there in the one corner that makes a brilliant antiseptic. You can just use the juice as an antiseptic. We've got mondias growing there on the wall that the stem makes a powerful aphrodisiac apparently. And we've got elephant food, the spekboom over here. It's actually also edible. So we're trying to grow as many useful, medically useful plants and so on, and as we can. And yeah, that's about it, except for we've got a grey water system that just takes all the waters from the showers and so directly into the garden. So reusing the water like that a bit, yeah.
Well, and then the view. I mean, where we're standing now, you have a 360 view of Chintsa.
Yeah.
Can you take us through that?
Yeah, we can start actually on that side, which would be on the east side. On a bit of a clearer day, you can see all the way from Morgan's Bay, the point over there, and then all across this way. There's Chintsa Beach, and the lagoon area is on that side. Then on that, just opposite the hill is Chintsa West and the newer developments there at the top. Olivewood Golf Course on this side, and then we also get the sunset on this side as well. And then yeah, all the way further around. So it is an incredible view, especially because you've got the sunrise view and then the sunset view. Yeah, and the combination of the two sides sometimes is quite amazing.
You can be here at the deck at any time, whether morning or evening. There's something to see and enjoy.
And even at night, because the stars at night, the moon normally rises over there. And we've had quite a few instances here where the moon rises like red just from there, from out of the water. Absolutely incredible. Or sometimes thunder showers come past, but on that side. So you're here at the side of the thunderstorm and seeing it from this side. It's absolutely beautiful seeing the whole storm from the side. Yeah.
So this is the place to visit. And also what I like about where you are as a town is that this is a town where you find that there's a lot of cooperation and working together among the people. And I know that you also work with a number of people around the town. Can you tell us what people can do in Chintsa and your relationships as well with other businesses?
Yeah, sure. Since this is a tourism town, like many other villages in the area, we're sort of quite a bit dependent on foreign tourists coming into the village. And with the COVID that hit everyone, the village has fallen onto hard times a little bit. And the way we're going to get through this is to work together. That would be the solution. There's a whole Chintsa experience you can have over here. You don't just have to stay over here. You can stay over here and get a massage somewhere in the village. You can stay over here and there's on the other side in Chintsa West, there's the horse, Chintsa horses. They look after old horses and horses that's been injured and so on. And you can get a horse and go for a leisurely stroll down the beach and a bit of a gallop later on. Then there's also Chintsa Wild Coast Vet just on the other side. They've got a voluntary veterinary program where they train young vets to come here to get some experience and so on. And they get involved in programs to inoculate the dogs in the township and to sterilize dogs in the township and so on. There's also a food kitchen running here on this side. And then what we just try to do from our side is to basically try and spread everything around as much as we can. For instance, we work very closely with Barefoot Cafe and with the village bistro at the bottom. Basically, we don't serve breakfast because you haven't had breakfast if you haven't been to Linz. She's the heart of the town. She's the sort of center of the village. You have to go to the village bistro to have the experience. Also with Barefoot Cafe, yes, they can deliver to Purple Haze and you can have a lovely pizza on the deck if the weather is nice. But it's also a great place with fantastic views from there and so on. Everything is close. Everything is within a 3 minute drive, really. and we can all work together. That's the thing. There's enough for all of us. There's enough space. There's enough to do for all of us, really. And you can still provide guests with a complete experience. Yeah.
So for visitors coming here and staying with you specifically, what is the one thing that you would suggest they do when they are here?
Okay. I would suggest they go to Crossways shopping center, about 20 kilometers that way. There's a fuel station over there. At the back of the fuel station is a shop where they sell fish cakes. Those fish cakes are this size, and they're the best in the Eastern Cape. So what I suggest to guests, go there, buy fish cakes, drive just a little bit down the road to Kwelega Botanical Gardens. They've just started developing it over there. You can drive in and you can park right next to the ocean. This far away. There's a big picnic area and so on. And then you sit there and you eat your magic fish cake over there. It's an amazing experience to have. Yeah.
So there's really a lot to do in Chintsa. And also, as we said, that the community works together. The next person we're going to be looking at is Louf of the African Angels School and the wonders that they are doing in that school in Chintsa. See you on the other side in our last segment.
My name is Louf. I live in Chintsa in South Africa, and I run a school called African Angels. The school started in 2012, and we started the school to give parents a choice of where their kids would get a primary school education. And our vision is for each child to reach their full potential and to grow into fantastic South African citizens. So we provide not only a quality education, we provide a holistic education. For example, in lockdown, when we were allowed to bring the kids back, we brought our 2 oldest grades back into our hostel for the whole 10 weeks of the term. And I would go in on Saturday afternoons and we would do ethics podcasts. So ethics is something that's very dear to my heart because there's no right or wrong. You have to work through those ethical questions. And so we used a podcast that would give real scenarios that the kids had to work through, like was it his fault he became a thief? Or was it society who made him a thief? So we don't just teach ABCs. We teach kids about recycling. We teach them about being kind to animals. We teach them about being kind to each other. We help them navigate a lot of the issues that happen in their lives. We've had parents who have died, not specifically through COVID. We've had home lives where there's enough to eat. And so we support the children holistically. We provide them nutritious food at school, around safe accommodation, safe schooling, safe transport. And we don't use corporal punishment, we use positive discipline, and we teach the kids how to be self-disciplined and respect themselves and others. So we are not just about educating kids, we're about growing citizens. That's a really good question. The first thing that I'll say is that because we partner so strongly with parents, the parents understand, well, first of all, the parents must apply for their kids to come to the school. We don't solicit applications. And then we interview the parents. We ask them why they want their child to come to the school. And when we first started, we had English-speaking teachers only. And they said, because we want our kids to learn English. Now we're 9 years down the track, they say we want our kids to have different futures than ours. And because over the past 9 years, we have collaborated so closely with parents, they've developed our hair policy, our uniform policy, our sponsorship policy, which child gets a sponsorship first, because they are part of our school community. So we, 2 years ago, a delegation of our parents went to the Department of Education to motivate for the independent school subsidy, which we don't yet have. And when they were told, no, that school is a business, they said, no, it's our school. We are the community and it's a school for our community. So the parents will always be the most important figure in the kids' lives. We are a small part of that. So I suppose the best answer to your question is we work as closely with our parents as we do with the kids to make sure we all understand the journey that we're on, because at the end of the day, the parent and African Angels wants the best for the child. That's what it's all about. It's not about us, it's actually about the kids. Okay. So we've been incredibly lucky to have Mercedes-Benz South Africa as our primary principal donor since 2013. They have walked the road of when we were very small to now we are much bigger, and we have children in 23 different high schools. So where the kids are academically talented, they achieve bursaries. So to the Oprah School in Joburg, to Selborne College in East London, to DSG in Grahamstown, to Queen's College in Queenstown, because whilst those schools provide different challenges, you often are going to school with very wealthy children, and you're not. You're coming home to a very different environment. It doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't have access to that level of education. So Mercedes has walked that road with us, and a number of other donors and sponsors. We have long-term relationships with a group of women who, of which I was one, run up the Wild Coast 100 kilometres every year, the Wild Women on the Run, and they're all from East London in this area. So they don't just raise money for a new girl to come to school. There's a whole support around the work that we do, and there's a network there. We have 80 out of our 153 children whose school fees are sponsored by individuals across the world, South Africa and across the world, because we recognise that often parents from low-income backgrounds don't have a lot of money, and even 400 Rand a month is too much. So we have a sponsorship policy that was developed by the parents as to who, if a sponsor comes forward, who's chosen first, because it's obviously a financial windfall. And so children with no parents are first priority, children with one parent are second, and then children with both parents, and then it goes to what they earn. So that provides a different income stream, and then some parents can afford fees and they pay school fees. We do fundraisers, we have a golf day. We are always seeking opportunities for people to invest in us. So that's just finished on Thursday. That was actually an expat South African in Hong Kong, Shelley, and she and two of her friends in Hong Kong ran the Hong Kong Marathon, and they ran an online fundraiser and asked, they were wanting to raise money for one child for a year's education, and they ended up raising money for 4 children for a year's education. So that was incredible. That was an amazing fundraiser, and people from all over the world contributed small amounts to build up to being able to sponsor 4 children for a year. But the newest thing we're doing is we're starting a social enterprise, because we have run a small social enterprise before at the school. We have 110 beds and they're dorm style accommodation, so they're not very glamorous, but they're neat and tidy and close to the beach. And so we've leased those out for school and church camps in the past at 100 Rand a bed a night, and that's quite a good deal for churches and schools. But now we've just refurbished our computer hub, which is in the middle of the township, and we're starting a sewing project, sewing reusable, washable sanitary pads. And we're creating a circular economy. So let's say a company wanted to purchase sanitary pads, then a portion of the purchase price would go to fund African Angels School, and then local women will be employed to sew them. They'll be donated to girls in low-income schools, so the girls stay in school, and will reduce plastic in the environment. They can contact me directly. And the first step is always visiting the school and seeing what it's like. Because sometimes people arrive and it's not what they think. That's always the case, actually. They always arrive and they expect a small, untidy, unruly children's school. And they arrive and it's like, they often say, but my children are doing the same work as your children? I'm like, well, yes, they work with the same curriculum. So contact me, we'll arrange a visit to the school, and then we'll go from there. Because there's different ways of partnering. Sometimes it is offering services or volunteer time, but we're down a very bad road, so that usually puts people off. Our access road is, well, if it rains tonight, you won't get down it tomorrow. So it does put people off, but there's different ways of partnering, and it's not always involving money. For example, we've got the Lunchbox Fund, and they provide dry goods. So they provide mealie meal and sampa beans and rice and soya mince, which supports our nutrition program. So that's a direct support to our kids' health, because if you're hungry, you can't learn. Yeah. So contact me and we'll go from there.
Now, Louf, can you tell us more about your rooms?
Yes, we've got 6 rooms over here. 3 of them can be made up with either 1 king size or 2 single beds. The others are just king size. Each room has its own individual entrance and private bathroom and private balcony on that side. The bathrooms are quite big. We made them a bit oversized just because you want to have that space and feeling of openness.
Not decluttered.
Yeah, I think Inge did very well with the design of the thing, using only the colors. You can see all the colors over here and so on. She did weeks and weeks of research, literally reading up on what emotional effect different colors would have on you and so on. I think because of that, that's one of the reasons we're successful, is just her extreme attention to detail and the personalization of the rooms. When you get here, she's put little flowers everywhere, little fresh flowers. She'll go into the units before the guests come, even after they're spotlessly clean, and spend another half an hour there just making sure everything is perfect. It could basically pass a military inspection by the time she's finished with it. And yes, we very much try to go for a personalized experience. We're small enough to do that. We're small enough to be very reactive if guests would need us for anything and so on. And I can personally greet the people when they arrive here and so on. It's nice. It's nice to be small enough to be as personal. It can be, you know, where it's possible to give this personal touch.
Yeah, and I must say we thoroughly enjoyed the view. My wife and I had the sliding door open till late in the night.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, we enjoyed the sea view, you know, and at night it was just fascinating to know that there's a whole lot of, you know, protected eco land just above from where we were sitting.
Yeah,
and just taking it in and enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
That was something else.
And the sound of the sea over here is amazing.
Exactly.
This constant low rumble. It's very relaxing. Yeah?
True, you never get tired of it.
No.
And then if people want to book, how do they contact you? In fact, before we get to that, do you have any specials, or do you run any specials through the year?
Yeah, we've got a very nice special that we're running throughout this year, up to I think beginning of December. It's a stay 2 nights and get a 3rd night free offer basically. The total is 2,200. For that you get a 3-night stay at Purple Haze, a 250 Rand meal voucher from Barefoot Cafe, and you can also get a bottle of bubbly waiting for you in your room when you arrive. Perfect for someone who just wants to get away for a few days or for a romantic weekend and so on. For anyone really who just wants a bit of a break away from everything, because since while it's just outside East London, it feels very much like a different village, you know. It feels separate over here. So yeah, and then for a stopover point for people who are just passing through, it's also a very convenient stopover point because the restaurants are very close and so on. So you're basically sorted with most things by the time you get here.
Okay. And then for those interested, on social media, website, how do they contact or how do they get in touch with your establishment?
They can look on our website. It's purplehazeecolodge.com. We're also under Purple Haze Eco Lodge on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook is the one we update most frequently with the newest news and rates and so on. We've got some brilliant pictures on our Instagram post. And then to physically book the website would be the best place to go. Or they can just give me a call.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I must say we thoroughly enjoyed our one-night stay at Eco Lodge, at Purple Haze Eco Lodge. This place is really meant for people who want to get away from it all. It's even worse when you are coming from East London. This place is just 34 k's away, you know, but it feels like you are entirely in a different town. So thank you for watching this episode of Virtually East London. Till next time, remember to like our page, remember to follow us, follow the Purple Haze Eco Lodge page, and that's it.